insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
On view at Minneapolis Institute of Art, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work, only at MIA until September 21st, and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nacd.org.
The place for live music is the Park Tavern. The Park Tavern has delicious food and great bowling, and with fall rolling in, the Park Tavern's dog-friendly patio is open and waiting for you. Live music brightens up the patio. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, live music is outside, making your evening fun. Reservations for groups of 8 or more are recommended, and the Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces for small and large groups with no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, live music and outdoor fun are back at the Park Tavern.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and storms with a low of 56, and Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 64. Treasure Island sets sail at Children's Theater Company September 9th. Join young Jim Hawkins and the infamous Long John Silver on an adventure packed with pirates, sword fights, live music, and heart-pounding action. Tickets are going fast. Get yours today at childrenstheater.org.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, on today's show, we're going to have Avina Martin on, our friend Avina Martin, and also Ruth Anna Buffalo on later today. But before I have Avina Martin on, I wanted to say a big pinigigi to all the listeners who dropped by Native Roots Trading Post and made it another successful state fair extravaganza, and my family really appreciates you stopping by and saying hello. You listen to the show, and it just was amazing. And I just want to send out a really big pinigigi. Thank you so much, and really makes me happy. One, to see all the people that listen to the show, but also your support for our family, and it's really appreciated. Hey, right now I want to bring on Avina Martin, CEO of Emerge Wisconsin. And Avina, welcome, and boy, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Yes, there is a lot going on. I am glad I have the week off from work to be able to process all of it.
Well, Arvina, first, I want to give a big shout out too. I was at Black River Falls, and our powwow happened, and it was just great to see all our relatives out there, and always makes me feel really good in my heart. Were you able to make it out there?
No, I had major FOMO looking at all of the social media being posted from there. It looked like, I mean, the weather was perfect. There were lots of dancers. There were, I had friends and relatives that, were posting about their kids dancing for the first time, deciding to come join the powwow circle. It looked like there were great vendors. I was super bummed to miss both a snake dance and a green corn dance. I am a sucker for both of those. And I, unfortunately, my back injury was acting up, and sitting in the car to drive up to Black River was just not a good idea. So I stayed home and pouted.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. I didn't make this part. I was only out there for a few hours, but I wanted to say hi. And one of the things is I saw some of our political friends out there, and we're going to have to get them on the show. And one of them for sure is the lady that's running for Supreme Court. We're really going to connect with her. Maybe we can have her on the same day you're on, and we can really support her.
Yes. She's currently a judge here in Dane County, Chris Taylor. She's also a former state representative, and I got to know her while she was serving in the Wisconsin State Assembly. She is fierce. She is smart. She does the work, and I think she will be a fabulous addition onto the state Supreme Court. Actually, several years ago, she, while she was in the state assembly, called for an MMIW task force to be created, and her legislation unfortunately went nowhere because she's a Democrat, and everything at the time was Republican majority. We have since had the Attorney General start a task force on MMIR now, and I'm grateful for now. She was then Representative Taylor's efforts to bring more eyes and research into the dangers and the violence faced by so many Indigenous people, especially women and children.
Absolutely. I'm always proud, Arvina, that I can say Protasewich, and she was on our show just prior to that election, and I always say that Native Roots Radio helped her put over the top. So, but I always want to show off and say Protasewich.
Yeah, well, you can show off and say Taylor too.
That's right. You know me, I have trouble remembering or pronouncing Wendy's name correctly. Hey, one thing I want to get to before we get really deep is just to give a shout out to Graham Greene, who passed away. 73 years old. Us Native men don't live that long, and he really blew up during Dancing with, I always like to call it Dancing with Kevin Costner, but Dancing with the Wolves.
Yeah. He played, I believe, Kicking Bird, and got an Oscar nomination for that role. I was happy. I'm really happy that he got another chance to make an impact in like American pop culture with his role on Reservation Dogs. And when I found out, or yesterday after learning of his passing, I had several of my non-native friends text me saying, "Oh no, Graham Greene died," and I'm pretty sure that they know who he was because of the show Reservation Dogs, and seeing that. So I'm grateful that he had an opportunity to share his talent, and his role as Maximus was such a great role, and there was so much emotion in the part he played, and he did it so well. he's going to be missed. He's already missed, and we will absolutely continue to miss him. I do believe he's got another role in a movie that is yet to be released. I can't remember the name of it, but we should be seeing one more appearance from him, which will be nice. It's nice to know that there's one more for us to enjoy.
Right. It's interesting too. He was on the Green Mile, and one of my favorites, Thunderheart. And there's just so many mainstream movies he was in, not quote unquote native movies. And what a long career! And our hearts and our good thoughts are to his family, and a great memory. And again, yeah, it was fun seeing him on Reservation Dogs with all those icons really at the end. And that show was really made to me special when they really gave a shout out to the people that kind of led the way, like him.
Yeah, him and Wes Studi and Gary Farmer kind of, they got a chance to play roles that were not just them being stoic Native warriors, that it was like Wes Studi was hilarious, all of his jokes and trying to get copper, and they were able, after these storied careers, able to play roles that have backstories that are more than just the two-dimensional, caricatures that we see. They were thought out, and what a gift to be able. It really was like a cross-generational moment. They got to play these roles that were probably really fun for them to play, but they also got to interact with the kids, and what an experience for them. The young actors at the beginning of their careers getting to see these pillars from our community, and being able to work with them professionally. What an opportunity.
Yeah, Ajawak, who was in I believe it was called Iron Horse, the hockey movie. He was getting makeup one day, and the actor that played in Smoke Signals was right next to him getting his makeup on, and he was just blown away. And so that is really kind of, I agree with that 100%. Also, too, I want to give a shout out to Brownie, Uncle Brownie. That was a great character.
Oh yeah, he was hilarious. And I remember after I graduated college, I made a trip to school for the Dartmouth powwow, and he was there. And so we got to visit with him, and I got pictures with him, and it was really cool. He's a fabulous guy.
Hey, we're here. It's Avina Martin, CEO of Emerge Wisconsin, and we'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio.
On view at Minneapolis Institute of Art, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work, only at MIA until September 21st, and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with MIWRC. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nacd.org.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Native Roots Radio, and we are talking to our friend, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, Avina Martin. And Avina, a lot going on as we talked. That segment just flew by. I don't know if you're familiar, but there's a legal action by our tribe, Ho-Chunk Nation, about this online platform gaming. It's an issue, and I know when I was legislator for Ho-Chunk, we heard a lot of things that were happening in Wisconsin when it came to the bar industry and how they have more slots and illegally, and nobody's doing anything about it. So just a shout out to the president and the legal people of Ho-Chunk Nation for putting this out, making it live for people to see.
Yeah, I've been trying to learn more about, the specific issue. It's not one that I'm like super familiar with, but when I saw the release announcing that the nation was going to be taking this action, I was really happy because it is a defense of our sovereignty, and making sure that we as a nation are protecting that is so important. And a lot of people will say, well, it's the money. You don't want to be the only ones that can make money at this kind of thing. There is obviously an economic side to it, but it is a question of sovereignty and protecting the very political existence of our nation. So I'm glad that we have folks working on it, and I am nervously awaiting seeing how this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, a big shout out, and it's good to see that our government and our sovereign government is on its toes as usual. And again, I'm a big fan of the president of Ho-Chunk Nation, John Greendeer.
Same here.
Even though every once in a while in meetings he'd call me Paul Fox instead of Robert Pilot, but I just would say we look so much alike. No.
Yeah.
Dude, he'd laugh about that one. Hey, I don't know if we want to talk about this now, but I really want to talk about either now or next segment. It's back to school, and I know for public schools, and I know it's a nervous time of year, especially what's happened and what has happened in our community for so many years, nationwide. And I know I believe you still have a young one that's still going to school.
Yes, my daughter is a junior in high school this year. She is living with her dad in Green Bay and attends school there, and is right back in the swing of things. And they started a couple of weeks ago. Her school did, and she goes to a Catholic school. So I was really taken aback when I heard that the shooting last week had taken place during mass for students. It was easier for me to relate because that is something that my daughter then has to do for her school. And it just, we should be able to trust that our kids can be safe at school. And not being able to do that is so nerve-wracking, and takes so much out of you as a parent, to be worrying about your child's physical safety like that. And to the point where previously there had been talks of like at schools here in Madison, do we want to ban cell phones from the classroom? And I was like, absolutely not, because, when these emergencies happen, when these shootings happen, a lot of times it's the kids calling in on the cell phones, or somebody calling 911, or, being able to call their parents or something, I just wouldn't want that that avenue to be closed for folks. It's just so terrifying.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point, because I think I've been an advocate for no cell phones, but with what's happening now, in the safety of our children, that's a really good point. I wonder if there's any way that the teacher could like collect them at the door and still have them available in a sense, but things happen so fast. I don't know if that would even work under the circumstance of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe just making sure everybody, the phones are put away. They're not on a desk. They've got to be zipped up in your backpack. I mean, provided you're allowed to bring backpacks into your classroom. But it's wild to me that we would think about something like that, and not think about gun control. It's just it just boggles the mind.
It totally does. And I know we had a pretty emotional show last time you were on with you and Dr. Stately, and I appreciate your honesty. And I know people listening have commented about that show specifically. So it's a hard discussion, but this one discussion that we all should be on the same page of is no gun laws. And the Walls here in Minnesota is calling a special session on the gun laws, and so that just came up an hour or so ago, Arvina, and I just hope it doesn't backfire on him, because the way things are happening here in Minnesota right now, I believe the Republicans, because of what's happened, has an advantage now, a 1 vote advantage here in Minnesota, because of people being convicted of breaking in and entering into their stepmother's house and things like that's happening, and also shooting deaths. And so it may be precarious, but it definitely, you need to put people on record, I believe.
Absolutely. I mean, now is the time to be strong in your defense and support of sensible gun laws, of background checks, of waiting periods, and again, knowing that solving violence is never going to be a one policy and poof, it's done. And I mean, we can tie this to Trump today saying that he's going to send troops to Chicago, talking about, well, we've decreased violence in Washington, D.C. Well, yeah, if you've got a bunch of military people out, wandering, that will deter people in the short term. But there are so many systemic issues that lead to violence that are being ignored, and that the Trump administration has canceled funding for. Things like education, things like providing food, for people that need access to either cheaper or free food, people that need housing, all of those things that people on the other side of the political spectrum are like, well, those are just handouts. I'm like, those are things that should be part of our social safety net, so that when things get bad, there are options, and one does not have to resort to violence, or to guns, resort to drugs, etc. These things are all a big part of root causes for violence in our communities. And it's clear that the Trump administration doesn't actually care about that kind of stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't have cut so much, access to Medicaid, access to mental health, and all of the things that were cut. And they're just trying to set us up now to live in a state of heightened violence where instead of law enforcement, we have military personnel who are not trained for law enforcement to come in and serve in that role as law enforcement. It's setting us up for something larger where he can take things over instead of actually it's under the guise of making things safer.
Arvina, we have the GOP whip representative Emmer here out of Minnesota was saying that there shouldn't have been a shooting. This person should not have had an opportunity to have guns, but yet he voted against mental health in schools. And these Republicans take, let's talk about it next segment. It's sickening that these Republicans take advantage of a situation which they voted against and acted as if they voted for it, and hoping that people don't pay attention, especially the MAGA people that support them. So, hey, we were with our friend Avina Martin and CEO of Emerge Wisconsin. We got a few things to talk about, but also get an update of Emerge Wisconsin. We'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they'd like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. And if you need to freshen up your home for the fall, Zero Res is dropping a Labor Day sale just in time for the start of the school year. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air duct cleaning. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Hey, I'm Paige Kale, host of Reckoning with Real Estate. Each week, we take an inside look at the housing world from a fresh, consumer-friendly perspective. We'll cover everything from the history of housing to today's market challenges and opportunities. We'll also chat with clients, experts, activists, and community leaders about what home really means. Whether you're buying, selling, or care about housing justice, join us for the debut of Reckoning with Real Estate this Sunday at 11 a.m. Podcast anytime or watch on Facebook and YouTube.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Overwhelmed trying to make sense of Medicare? As a licensed advisor, I can help you determine your healthcare needs and evaluate your options. I'm Harvey Pearl of Pearl & Company, and I want you to have the peace of mind knowing you have the best coverage available. You deserve an advocate you can trust and coverage you can rely on. And there's no fee, ever. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. Find me at pearlsofwisdom.com. That's P-E-R-L-E-S of wisdom.com. So we can strategize together.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP, or visit snapconstruction.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and storms with a low of 56, and Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 64. Great news, Zero Res's Labor Day sale has been extended. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air duct cleaning. It's been extended, but it won't last forever. Book now at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES and ask for the AM 950 special.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to Native Roots Radio. Here, we are with the CEO of MIWRC, Wisconsin, our friend Avina Martin, and we're just talking over a lot of things that matter to us and to our community, and I really appreciate you and coming on and talking. A lot of people, we are on the civic media in Wisconsin, and a lot of people are listening to you, Avina. I've getting people stopping me at powwows and state fairs and saying, "What a great show and what great guests you have."
Yay! I'm glad. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit again about this Illinois and the governor of Illinois not calling the president Trump and telling him straight out that we don't need federal people coming in here, and especially sneaking in ICE people along with these National Guard people is a big thing and a big threat to Illinois or Chicago specifically.
Yeah, I actually got to see part of the press conference today that was held with the with Governor Pritzker, with the mayor of Chicago, and with the county executive of Cook County, Illinois, and you know they were, you know, they had a lot of really great things to say, mainly that, you know, solving violence in Chicago is not an enforcement issue, you know, because you still have guns streaming in from places like Indiana, which is a red state, and, you know, home of the previous vice president under Trump. But, you know, saying that they would love assistance from the federal government, but that assistance should not be troops, that it should be money that has, you know, is supposed to be going to Illinois, to Chicago, because that's what their taxes are for. And the money is not being sent to them, or the programs are being cut. And then, you know, Trump basically making local officials kiss the ring before they can get access to funding. I mean, we in Wisconsin are still waiting for a declaration of emergency for the flooding that happened several weeks ago in Milwaukee. That has, at least at last time I checked, had not yet come. Yet J.D. Vance was here last week and was talking about, oh, well, Milwaukee's full of crime. Shouldn't we send troops there? Like trying to get people at his appearance on the other side of the state. I think he was in La Crosse, getting folks riled up about that. And, you know, that's not how this is supposed to work. And, you know, when you have people at different levels of government that are antagonizing the other levels, you know, you're never going to be able to get the results that you want, because and again, an issue like crime has so many causes, and there are so many things that affect crime, or, you know, affect folks that either go into crime or who are victims of crimes, and you can't just put police everywhere, or you can't just put military pretending to be police everywhere. And and people like ICE with masks and no IDs, just stealing people off of the street.
Yeah.
It's not a real solution. It's not serious. I mean, in the sense that it's not something that's going to actually help the situation long term. It merely, at best will put a Band-Aid on it, and then things will go back to the way they were,
Uh, Yeah, absolutely. And for me, being 64 years old and seeing at the Minnesota State Fair, for instance, a lot of people, one, that don't look like they're police because of the shagginess and the long hair and the beards, but walking around with M16s and assault rifles at the fair was unbelievable for me. Usually I go out the back way because we have a store and we pay for parking, but we went out the front gate one day, and Wendy and I were not only appalled but amazed that this slow integration of military police at everything, not just big riots or whatever, but to everything.
I mean, it's just another way to overwhelm us, much like a new executive order coming out that is heinous every day, and all of us reacting and being so drained by it that by the time they get to the thing they really want to do, we don't have the fight in us.
Right.
They're doing the same thing with these guns. I mean, seeing people with and did you say an M16?
Well, maybe they're definitely have the clip in there. I'm not,
Yeah,
but maybe they're the AR-15s.
I mean, seeing people with big guns does not make me feel safer.
No.
It's scary. And again, they're just trying to desensitize us to this and make it normal so that when he tries to take over cities, that it's easier and people won't fight as hard. Because they're used to it. And we have to remember that throughout all of this, no matter how long, this is not normal, this is not okay, and this is not how a democratic nation is supposed to function. And I think we get so caught up in everything. Again, like I've said how countless times, is it is important to take care of ourselves and our own peace of mind during times like this, so that these executive orders, seeing people with big guns at seemingly innocuous events, we should just always know that that's something out of the ordinary, and still react to it, but we should take time away so we don't, that kind of news and that those sites and everything don't just sit and weigh on us all the time. I mean, it's a very fine line between paying attention and fighting and being able to take care of yourself.
Wow. God, good point. Before we get into Emerge Wisconsin, I just want to give a shout out that the Minnesota Reformer put out a great article about Lieutenant Governor Flanagan as she steps out on her own in the Senate race. And big supporter here of Peggy Flanagan. We play a bumper for her too now, and she's been on the show many, many times. But I think the rank and file Democrats are thirsting for leaders who will fight rather than fold in the face of Trump. And I think Lieutenant Governor Flanagan is one of those people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's tough as nails. I mean, Native woman, of course she is. But she's also, has kind of a more, she's got a side that can handle the nuance of a situation, and she knows how to react and how to demonstrate strength and care to her constituents in a way that does feel like there's an adult in the room. I remember seeing a video of one of her press conferences, or a press conference during all of the protests that were happening during the George Floyd situation. And I hate just calling it a situation. But her response was so thoughtful and so caring that like I saved the speech on YouTube and I like to show it to people that especially in Emerge when we do various public speaking trainings. Here's an example of someone in an extremely volatile situation that is trying to provide leadership and trying to show that the leadership cares and is not trying to just throw law enforcement around, that they're trying to make the situation better and listening to those who are aggrieved. And it was just such a powerful statement that, I still have it saved years later.
That's awesome. And that's a good segue to Emerge. And I talked to a person that has not said that he's running yet for Senate and really has a lot to say about good things to say about you and Emerge. And let's talk a little bit about that and about Emerge Wisconsin and get people out there riled up and signing up because that's what we need.
Yeah, so we are an organization, Emerge Wisconsin, that trains Democratic women and non-binary folks who feel comfortable in female-centered spaces on how to run for office. And we provide over 70 hours of training on everything from fundraising calls to hosting events to practicing your stump speech to finding your win number. And we have a rate of success in the last year of over 90%. So 90% of our alumna won the races that they ran for. And we just yesterday opened up our applications for the class of 2026. So folks in Wisconsin who are listening, if you're a woman or non-binary and feel comfortable in female-centered spaces, please take a look at our application. You can go to wi.emergeamerica.org. And there we have links to our application there. We need everybody. Like we've said, this resistance takes a lot of people. And sometimes people need breaks, and we need to bring more people in to be part of this movement, to be part of this resistance. And running for office is one of those ways. Being able to help make decisions on the local level. You might not think that being on the school board is a way to fight against Trump, but it surely is. And being able to represent your community is really a great honor. And being able to, or being trusted to like make decisions that affect your community is a really great honor. And we need Native people's perspectives at every level of government. Our tribes need tribal members in city councils, in county boards, and in state legislatures that know what tribal sovereignty is and know how to work with tribes. Our Native students need more Native parents and more Native students and more Native educators on school boards so that, their communities are learning appropriate information. Our voices are important, and if you've been thinking about running for a local office or any office, now's the time to start thinking about it. Next year is an election year.
Right on. Avina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and our friend, our Ho-Chunk sister, and our updates in Wisconsin are just fabulous. And I really, really appreciate you coming on and talking to our listening audience each week.
Thank you so much for having me. I love being here.
Right on. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. Up next, Ruth Anna Buffalo, and we're going to talk about what's happening at Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. Hoa! Thank you, Avina.
Yep.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
On view at Minneapolis Institute of Art, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on Standing Rock Reservation, she worked in near obscurity between the 1920s and 1940s, creating intricate, vividly colored drawings that blend Dakota heritage with modern life. Now on display at the Minneapolis Institute of Art, experience the first solo exhibition featuring Mary Sully's work, only at MIA until September 21st, and always free to visit. Learn more at artsmia.org.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are with our friend Ruth Anna Buffalo of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. Ruth Anna, thank you so much for coming on as always, and I hope you had a good break.
Yeah, Matsikidat, hello, Dosha, good to see you. And yes, had a very good break. How about you?
Pretty good. You know, we were at the fair and doing the fair stuff because we got a booth out there. But yeah, and then either that or watching the grandbabies. So I'm still tired.
Yeah, for sure. We have, our dogs kind of they're kind of on our weekday schedule, and so when you want to sleep in on weekdays or weekends, we have our Boston Terrier like shaking really loud to like get up, it's time to feed me, so.
Oh my gosh,
but it's okay.
we love them. We love them. They're family, but sometimes they're on their own schedule for sure. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I have to get up, I think, at 2:35 every night too, just to let the dog out because she wants to go out.
Yeah, really. They're almost like children, like our fur babies, they communicate in their own way, and yeah.
Definitely. So is that a ribbon skirt, or is that a ribbon chair that you have?
Yeah, it's a ribbon skirt. Just trying to get in the habit of leaving one in the office, and it's a MIWRC ribbon skirt that was made for all of the staff here at Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, and it was made by a very talented young lady. So yeah, local artist.
Right on. Well, hey, let's talk a little bit about, for some of our new listeners, maybe a little of the history of the Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, and also what you guys are up to and what services you have. I just love bringing you in and talking about the great work that you and the people working at Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center does.
Thank you so much. We're very appreciative to, be able to continue serving the community and to share some of the good work that's happening here. We are located at 2300 15th Avenue South in the East Phillips neighborhood and Ventura Village neighborhood. And we just opened our newly renovated tenant units over the weekend. So we had 6 individuals sign leases Thursday and Friday, and many of the new tenants moved in over the weekend as early as this past Thursday. And so we have 24 units total to get filled, and 6 are now filled, and we are on target in meeting our deadlines and things. So we're super excited. More to come for sure in getting things on the calendar to make sure that our tenants have the support they need and deserve, but definitely through a lot of community partnerships. And we're really thankful for our community members who have been assisting us throughout this process, because it's new to many of us, and we want to make sure we're doing our due diligence in continuing to help the relatives live longer and healthier lives.
Wow, that is big news. That snuck up on me. That's huge news, Ruth Anna. Wow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been planning, all along within the short time that I've been here, but really there's been so many individuals who have been working on this process from, I believe, as early as 2019. And so it's finally coming to fruition, and big undertaking and responsibility for sure, but we're just super happy and proud to be a part of the process. And yeah, it kind of almost snuck up on us too, even though we had been planning. There was just some things, especially this past weekend, learning sort of trial and error of different things we got to tighten up or look at, so.
Mm-hmm. It's in the flow. So what else is going on there? And also to give a shout out to the website and how people can support and find out more information, if you don't mind.
Yes, MIWRC.org, and that will connect you to like our LinkedIn, our Facebook page, and our Instagram page. And we have, job announcements, job postings, event announcements there at our website. We try to make sure we keep all of our social media outlets consistent with what's posted on our website. And there's also an option on there to donate. We appreciate all of our longtime supporters. Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center has a great supportive donor base, and so we are super thankful. We are going to be launching a fundraising campaign soon. So, so yeah, we're also pretty excited to be partnering with different educational institutions too in the area that are going to help us figure out like what's the best path forward in terms of our infrastructure and ways to improve upon our organizational structure, as well as the services that we provide to the community. And so we, as usual, have our weekly support groups for caregivers, Native survivors of violence. Also, we continue to have our Tuesday Resource Connect, where service providers are on site Tuesdays 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., which was today, and we provide breakfast and lunch. And then we also have breakfast offered on Monday, Thursday, Fridays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and that is an extension or expansion of our drop-in center. Our drop-in center serves Native women and those that identify as women and are trans and two-spirit relatives, but there's definitely been a request to expand those services to men as well, or those that identify as men. So yeah, individuals can come in, get a shower, get a fresh pair of clothing, get connected to resources, and they can also rest in that drop-in center area. And we're working on expanding and getting another shower in there, because currently there's one shower. So yeah, lots of moving pieces. The new tenant units, and I don't want to I don't want to mispronounce how you say it, but I can play a recording of how you say it if that's okay, really quick.
That's awesome.
Okay, 1 second.
Taking it out of my playbook. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I just gotta. Okay, let's see which. Okay, here it is. Oops, could you hear me? Could you hear that?
Yes, sure could.
Yeah, is how it means, like new path or new beginning, and that's what our top 2 floors are named after, or named.
Wow, that's beautiful. I also picture like a T-shirt for you guys, like a big circle with people in the circle doing the cakewalk. It's a cakewalk.
Right. That's a good idea. That'd be a cool sticker too. But yeah, there is to be announced, grand opening. And so we were looking at this month of September, but some of the funders caught wind of it and wanted to be a part of the planning process. So we welcome that for sure. And so it looks like it may be October or November when we have a grand opening of the top 2 floors newly renovated, and we'll have to give you a tour. They're really nice, spacious, have good views of the skyline downtown, they say, and then all but one on the south side has a really good view, they said, but yeah, they're really nice. They are separate from the bottom 2 floors that offices and programming services are located. So we are still on like the old HVAC system, but the top 2 floors are on their own system for central air and heating. And there's 20 of the units that will be going through coordinated entry, and then 4 are MIWRC referrals directly, but we still use the screening process of our third-party management team, which is Shelter Corps. So,
Ruth Anna, CEO of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. Unbelievable what your organization does for the community. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for coming on. We got to get you for a couple segments and bring some more people in with you maybe next week.
Okay, sounds good. Lots of good odds. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Native Roots Radio, we'll see you tomorrow.
On view at Minneapolis Institute of Art, artist Mary Sully was a visionary ahead of her time. Born on Standing Rock Reservation, she